2 weeks ago, I was invited by BMW 4Ways for the official launch of their 2023 Superbike. Now, 2 weeks later, they've got all the documents in place, their NATIS documents, roadworthies and everything, and this puppy is street legal here in South Africa. And my day has come. I have her for the entire day to ride, review, and have a look at her in more detail. And I'm talking about the brand new 2023 BMW S1000RR. BMW released their first inline four-cylinder superbike way back in 2009, and over the years, we're talking 14 years now, this bike has evolved into a real awesome cutting-edge leader, if you want to call it, when it comes to superbikes. This bike has really evolved, and this latest edition here, the 2023 in front of me, is not just an upgrade, it's a proper evolution. You're talking about updated chassis, you're talking about updated suspension, updated aerodynamics, new electronic assist features. This is cutting edge when it comes to electronics, and it has all the aerodynamic kit that they have developed in MotoGP and World Superbike. I mean, BMW is not in MotoGP, but all the lessons learned from World Superbike, and you're talking about bikes that are producing in excess of 200 horsepower. You don't want to wheelie, you want stability in front, and these are not cosmetic additions. They have function and form, and we'll go through it in more detail. You get kilograms of downforce onto your front wheel as the speed increases. So I think let's start off with the motor. This 1000RR still has the 999cc motor, inline 4, it's transversely mounted 4-stroke, double overhead cam, shift cam, liquid cooled, has a wet sump, wet clutch, goes through a 6-speed box, final drive is chain. This motor, as it is in the standard guise, puts out 205 horsepower, which is 151 kilowatts at 13,000 RPM. A massive 113 Newton meters at 11,000 RPMs. Having a look how this motor is changed from the outgoing unit, it is obviously completely revised, overhauled 4-cylinder inline 4, producing stock standard 205 horsepower. The maximum RPMs on this unit is 14,600. The cylinder heads are new and the intake ports are new, and it's actually modeled off the outgoing MRR 1000. The shift cam technology in here, you have the two cams, the torque cam and the power cam, and that's on the intake side, and that shift between the two cams happens in 11 milliseconds, and that all obviously depends on your requirements of the throttle, your load and your speed requirements. Now when it comes to the suspension, up front you have your 45mm upside down forks by Marzocchi. Travel is 120mm, fully adjustable under compression, rebound and spring preload. You have your option of the DDC electronic adjustable damping. When it comes to the back, you have your double-sided swing arm, your monoshock, as you can see in red over there. Travel is 117 millimeters. Also at the rear, spring preload, rebound, compression adjustable, also optional DDC. When it comes to your brakes, up front you've got two discs up front, a 320mm diameter, floating disc, 4-piston calipers, and at the back you have a single disc 220mm and single piston calipers. Your braking front and back has ABS Pro, which is obviously ABS, and your BSA, your brake slide assist. When it comes to your wheels, front and rear, you have 17-inch, front shod with a 120, the back standard shod with a 190. But when it comes to your M package, your M wheels, you get the M forged aluminium wheels or the M carbon wheels. Then you get a 200mm rear wheel. So 3 options on the wheels: the die cast aluminium, the standard, then you have the M forged aluminium, and then the M carbon wheels. When it comes to weight of this bike, dry weight, we talk about the standard execution, which is like this, and then you have the M package. Obviously, M package, they save a lot of weight. You can have the carbon wheels, or the M forged wheels are also slightly lighter, but standard in this, guys, 175 kilos dry weight, and the dry on the M package would be 173.2, so about a 2 kilogram saving. The wet is 197 kilos in the standard, 193.2, and these weights are excluding the battery. And on that point, all these new 2023 S1000RRs are fitted with the lightweight lithium batteries. Fuel capacity on this bike, 16.5 liters, which is also a fair capacity. Seat height is 824, and it is perfect. I mean, I've ridden this bike this morning. I really like it. It actually, to me, just without going through specs, feels more comfortable than the outgoing model. When it comes to color options, you have 3 options on this 2023 model. You have the Black Storm Metallic, as this one is here in front of us. You have the Style Passion in a racing red, which is non-metallic. And for the M package bike, you have the light white, which is also non-metallic. This bike in black looks stealthy, looks really cool. It's actually fantastic. However, personally, I prefer the Style Passion in racing red and the light white. And the reason I say that is because these absolutely gorgeous looking winglets are highlighted. It's black against the red or black against the white. And if you can see, these winglets go right across the front now, look absolutely superb, very aggressive, and they're no longer a bolt-on. They're actually molded into this fairing and they are integral. So really great with that joint across the front. No longer an addition or an afterthought. It's really part of the aerodynamic package. And when it comes to speccing your bike, obviously your M package being the highest spec, and in every country, every importer, BMW specs them slightly different, but you can definitely spec your bike. You have your M package, you have your M billet pack, you have your carbon package, your race package, and your dynamic package. And it varies whether you have an electronics or cosmetic, carbon or billet. Really great. That M package in the launch video was an extremely highly packaged and spec'd bike. So have a look at that video and you will see what it can look like with the carbon wheels, with the pinstriping, the billet pack, rear sets and foot pegs and levers, and all round stunning truckloads of carbon. And on that cosmetic change on the front over here with the winglets, the other big change, visual change, would be the seat section, the tail section. Now this is one unit going right across, no longer the halves. It had a tendency of breaking the clips on each half at the back. Not a major problem, but there was a tendency of that. So now you have one piece and it looks good. It's finished off well. The back has been shortened. It's no longer overhanging so far. And the cool thing is, with this cover over here, you get an integrated GoPro port, which is something obviously I would really fancy. Really cool. I think the last thing I want to go through before we go for that ride, I can't wait to get going, would be the electronics on this bike. Now, I mean, I could bore you for hours on end because this bike is stacked to the hilt. It has just about everything you can dream of, but you're talking about rider modes. Let's start there. You have 4 standard rider modes: rain, road, dynamic, and race. Then you have optional, you have your pro modes where you get a race pro 1, a race pro 2, a race pro 3. You have your DTC, which is your dynamic traction control, which has your 6-axis lean angle sensors, and it comes with the new slide control function. Let's call it the sensors control your drift angle, which is calculated via your steering angle, your wheel speeds, your slip angle, and your sensor box signals. Now let's have a look at those. If we go around to this side, you will see over here is a sensor for the steering angle, and at the back here you have another sensor which picks up the rear. So it really picks up the drift of the bike, the slide, the steering input, and all round brilliant. Switching on the 6.5-inch TFT. Stunning display, as I mentioned before in previous videos. I think BMW has some of the best because there's hardly any reflection. I mean, your traditional layout with a push of one button, here you go, that's your traditional wave showing the RPM. On top you've got your speed. Should I go down, you can go to your sport screen, and you have everything you could want for. You've got your brake over here, your DTC over here. It gives you maximum lean angle left and right. It gives you maximum deceleration on the side in meters per second, lap timers, lap distance. And the cool thing with this new TFT is that whatever setting you have, when you switch the bike off and back on, it retains that setting, and you just switch on and it keeps your memory, and off you go, and it has it. So I think, having covered this bike in brief, all the specs, let's jump on and go for that ride. Now, straight off the bat, this bike is fairly comfortable as a super bike. I mean, traditionally you think super bike, you are stretched out over the petrol tank, very long, hunched down, and very aggressive riding position. Now, I don't know if there's been major changes, but I have previously tested the 2022 in the M Sport 2021, and I must say this just feels better. Ergonomically, there's a lot of space on the seat. You can move forward and back, and if I move back and my toes on the foot pegs, I can really hunch down, and there's a lot of space for me. I can get the elbows down, but if I move forward right up to the petrol tank, and if you look down, this petrol tank's not too long, and I move right forward. It's very slim in front here where my thighs start hugging the petrol tank, so it's quite comfortable. And if I show you the difference between hands on handlebars in this forward position and sitting perfectly upright, you're talking my upper body moves back no more than 10 centimeters. So I am close to upright, and that's why it makes sense to have cruise control on this bike, because you can do longer distances. So overall, first feel, the seat, there's a lot of space to move back and forward should you want to get into a more of a upright, comfortable position, or in a really aggressive, track focused position. So from that point of view, then the next thing I realize is the seat is very firm. You want a firm seat when it comes to a super bike. You want to feel what's happening underneath you, what the back wheel is doing through your seat. And this seat is not as hard as I'm used to. It's not like this plank underneath you. It feels good. It has that little bit of a silicone feel to it. So you still get good feedback all round. I'm just enjoying it. My feet are very high up. That's the one thing. My ankles are right up underneath my bum. Yes, I can move them forward and hook my heels on the footrests. Gives me a bit more space. But if I put my toes on the foot peg, then it's really aggressive. Then it is in a forward motion, all the weight over the front wheel, aggressive, getting down to business position. Here we just roll on, quick shifter, smooth. Obviously the bike is fairly new. When I say fairly new, it's brand new. It just has 1,000 Ks on the clock, so it's just done its first 1,000 K service. It's the demo bike, and I have got it for the day for testing, and I will respect their bike. So I cannot test her and give you all the revs all the way to the top, but one thing I can tell you, having played with her, as the revs build, this bike gets more and more exciting. As the revs build, your adrenaline builds, your rush just climbs through the roof. It's exhilarating, really is. And somehow this bike the faster you go, the more you give it, the more exciting it gets. I mean, it's fantastic like this. Solid bike. The build quality is exceptional. It's everything, it just works in harmony. Everything is tactile, everything is intuitive. It does everything you want. The feel, the feedback, it's good. The clutch action, it's light but not too light. The brake action, it is powerful. I mean, if you go for the M package, I think you get the best brakes in the business, just about the best on the market. And these brakes are not shabby at all. They are fantastic. Two-finger braking, you will stand this bike on its nose. Progressive braking, so it's not one of those on-off that you don't know where you are at. You've got good feel on these front brakes. Then I am in road mode, as you can see up here, and that's really rideable. I'm riding in traffic a bit now. When I've switched it over to race, it is way more aggressive. It's on off. So I personally am not too comfortable to doing traffic and lane splitting with that, but we will switch over now. And as mentioned, those 4 standard rider modes on the fly, you just flick through them. And this on the TFT display, the traditional display as per my GS, just different colors. Everything is there in that wave. You have your RPMs, top left the digital, you have your speedometer, your speed in kilometers per hour. Bottom right you have your gear in 4th gear right now, and right on top on the top bar you have your tire pressures. Yes, tire pressures on the dash. I flick through here. I have the temperature, I have the fuel range I have on this bike, the fuel tank, the total mileage is 1050, and you have your fuel economy and the average speed on this bike set on the cruise control. Everything is here, all the info at one button. Now should you push this menu button down, you can go to an animation where you can see everything with my vehicle that's going on, and you can see everything in one glance. It is a brilliant layout. Now this is what I wanted to show you, the sport setting. Just go down, have a look at this setting here. This is crazy. This is for the track. You have your RPMs going around in that circle. In the center, that tiny little one, you have your maximum lean angles. You can see they're just under 25 degrees either side. I haven't abused this bike as yet. I'm on the road, not on the track. You have your DTC traction control on your left, your brake on the side, on the right. As mentioned, it gives you your retardation, braking in meters per second, lap timer, everything. I mean, if you look at this bike, one-handed quick shifter. As mentioned, I don't want to over rev it, but wow, this bike does everything, and it's smooth and it's linear. There's no dips. You roll on, it doesn't dip and then go. It just, as you roll on here, she goes smooth. It's just such a well-rounded package. And the biggest thing that I noticed, I am extremely comfortable on this bike. With the height of the seat, together with this narrow waist over here where the tank joins the seat, I really get both feet, both sides simultaneously flat on the ground, knees slightly bent. Really good control. So all round, to summarize, seating position is traditional superbike. It is aggressive, but you have lots of space. You can move forward and get into a fairly upright position to relieve some of the stress on your lower back. Handling fantastic. Minimal input required on the counter steer just to turn this bike. You roll on and you see smooth. There's no dips, no lags. It's fantastic. Quick shifter also, it just comes in, is smooth. Slower riding using the clutch, very manageable control. I've done some lane splitting, gone between the traffic. All round it's just there. Roll on, it's brilliant. This bike is just brilliant. With the electronic package spec as high as it is, I mean, for us mere mortals, average riders on the road, this is way beyond our capabilities. I mean, we're not World Superbike spec riders, 99.9% of us, but we have all the benefits these guys develop for us. And As I mentioned, the cosmetic change, if you want to call it cosmetic change, it's an aerodynamic change, and it is not just cosmetic, form and function combined. That front winglets now joined to the front. It looks fantastic across all the models. It's not a bolt-on, it's integrated into the fairing. And the actual specs on it, they've increased the downforce. They've rated it 16.3 kilograms at 300 kilometers per hour on the old winglets of the M. And on these new winglets standard, they got it up to 17.1 kilograms downforce at 300 kilometers per hour. So it's not just pure beauty, it is functional. All round, I must say, it's such a fantastic package. On the fly, if you have a look, I'm on road, push this button, mode once, I'm road, push it again, dynamic, push it again, race, close the throttle and on, and I'm in race mode. That's how quick everything happens. And now you can just feel it really wants to go. It's more aggressive, more responsive, but definitely not for the road for me. I'm going to push it twice, rain and road, close the throttle, and here we are. And that's how easy it is. Going back to the old display, I go push this menu button once more, and here I am. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the new TFT, the new function also, it retains your settings. So when you switch this bike off, switch it on again, it's retained what you've set it before. Also a cool feature, you don't have to set it before every ride. Another thing, this double bubble screen is standard, it's higher than the old one. Everything's thought of. Everything is there on this bike. You can cruise with it. Here's my cruise control. I flick it in and I've set it in. My hands are off. That's how quick it is. You can do it with your thumb. And this bike tracks beautifully. Have a look at this. It's dead straight, running nicely, confidence on the highway. You shouldn't be doing this. I don't recommend this, but I'm showing you just for demonstration purposes. It's brilliant. Again, flick it off with your thumb and you take over from the bike. All round, I mean, the controls are intuitive. If you have never ridden a BMW, you learn very quickly. If you've ridden a BMW before, throw the owner's manual away, you don't need it. It is intuitive, it's tactile, everything is as it should be. Everything is just functional. This double bubble screen, if I move back in the seat and tuck down, I have space, I'm comfortable, and I'm completely out the wind. I mean, at crazy speeds, it's still quiet down here. Going out here, it definitely gets noisier. The screen, as I've always mentioned, there is absolutely zero reflection on the screen. In this mode, I can be half blind and I can still see what's going on. I'm a big fan of this 6.5-inch TFT BMW has. And as busy as these controls look, they are simple to use. You're not confusing. And gone are the days when they had the quirky indicators like we tested the bike, that BMW R1200S, where you had the left indicator on the left thumb, right indicator on the right thumb, and cancel. Gone are those quirkiness. They are very conventional and intuitive. Controls are big enough, so even with my big gloves on, I can get all the features. Engine note is beautiful, beautiful sound. One thing is, I would spec the Akrapovic exhaust that has a stunning sound to it. This one has a good sound. Sounds great. I would just like a little bit more. I prefer a little bit more sound on the exhaust. Loud pipe saves lives, and it's just a thrill to hear a bike. Now, even with a lot of traffic around, this bike is so stable, it feels good. The wind doesn't really affect it or buffet it around. There is a bit of wind around today, but I feel stable. I have the confidence to ride through the center of the traffic. It's something we do here in South Africa. It is legal and something I do daily, so I am fairly confident with it. But this bike really is confidence inspiring. With the wind I have going around here, this bike is not moving, it's not buffeting, it's feeling very solid. And all round, I've nearly spent an hour on this bike now, continuous, and I'm not fatigued yet. I'm still loving it, I'm enjoying it. And the beauty of it is this power as I roll on. There's no doubt, if I just roll on it, it just builds, and the more it builds, it feels like it's just building up steam and building up more power. So the amount of power generated with that shift cam motor, with the low down, if you're opening it up, the torque cam is involved. It gives you that torque, and as you're building up steam, the power cam gets involved, and that's where it just feels like now it's getting into its stride, like a racehorse, and it wants to be unleashed. And it's your adrenaline builds in the same way the power builds on this bike. It is exhilarating. It's fantastic. I mean, it's just a solid weapon. And I don't know, it's if you look at the amount of traffic up ahead, it's just not intimidating on a bike like that. It's not with this setting in road mode, it's not on and off the throttle. It's very progressive, and you've got really good feel. Yes, you've got to be sensitive because you've got an extremely powerful motor under you. You can always switch it to rain mode if you're not confident, but in road mode it is just brilliant. In lower revs you've got nice torque, and then higher revs you just got the power to outrun anything you want. The other thing with these sensors I showed you, showing you the drift angle and the lean angle of the headstock front wheel versus the slide and the chatter of the back for the DTC traction control. I'm not going to test that, guys, because I'm on the roads, I'm not on a racetrack, and I don't think I'm qualified enough to really test BMW to their limits on this. But it is, I mean, should you get into trouble, it's all there to save you. You just dial it in when setting the bike up, and if you want to use this bike as a track weapon on a track day, you get it dialed in properly, and this bike will look after you, take care of you, so you have a brilliant track day, and you take this beautiful machine home in one piece, and you don't visit the ICU. I think we go off the highway here and do a few more back roads. So this bike really on the long straight road, comfortable. The suspension is perfect. It's very stiff for a superbike, but not overly stiff. It's not horrible. It's not gonna make you pass blood after a long day in the saddle. So it's sport bike, superbike stiff, but completely manageable and fully adjustable. I'm just taking the standard package as it is, and I am comfortable doing back roads, undulating roads, highway travel, and all working nicely for me. Remember, guys, I'm testing this not as a journalist. I'm not a journalist. I'm doing this for the pure passion and fun of it. I'm an enthusiast. I love motorcycles and anything to do with motorcycles, and every motorcycle is different. You sit on top of some, in some, on some are custom bikes, rat bikes, super bikes, sport bikes, touring bikes. That's the beauty. It's not like cars. Every bike is different, and getting to test these bikes is such a privilege. And when something new comes out like this, as an enthusiast, I'm not here to criticize it and rip it to shreds. I'm here to see what it's like and share with you, is this something that will put us into delirium with happiness? Is there something that will give us that boyish smile back? And will we have hours, days, months and years of fun on a bike like this? And that's what it's about. So for me, I don't think there's anything you can criticize this bike about. It is such a complete package. I'm loving it. I mean, I think the worst part about this whole bike is that I have to give it back, but it's brilliant. It's, as a commuter, as a weekend warrior, and as a track bike, this must be absolutely awesome, because I think this was developed for the track and refined then down for the road. So all round a magnificent piece. And as you can see in traffic, I am still talking, going through it, changing the screen, doing all the things I shouldn't be doing. I should be focusing on the road, but this bike is so well balanced, so easy to ride, and it's just comfortable. I'm at home, I'm at ease, having just received the bike this morning. You jump on, swing a leg over it, and it just, I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's intuitive. If you've ridden bikes, you get on this thing, it's just such a well-refined bike. Build quality is there, everything's there. The mirrors, yes, if I get into an aggressive style with elbows out, I do think I see a little bit too much of my elbows. The mirrors might be a little bit low, but again, you're on a sport bike, so you tuck your elbows in and then you can see everything. I've loved my ride on this bike, and I will enjoy the rest of the day on her, and not planning on ending it that quickly yet. But I'm just going to show you standing at this traffic light here. Have a look down. My foot is flat, knee is bent. Foot is flat, knee is bent. And if I show you here, this slim waist of this bike over here is what makes this so comfortable. Really nice. I love this triple clamp in black satin. Everything black right to the front. It looks stealthy. What is not to like about the bike? From this view, you can see the double bubble. The screen is higher than the old one. All round, brilliant motorcycle. And guys, I really hope you enjoyed this first ride with me on this brand new 2023 BMW S1000RR. If you enjoyed this review with me, please remember, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, and most important of all, please hit that subscribe button to help me build the channel, and if you like, that reminder bell so you always know when I'm uploading new content.